Why am I wearing leather indoors, you ask? Read the title. Today on Top 5 Friday, I'm going to tell you my top 5 leather-based fragrances in my collection. I feel so stiff. Welcome to J-ROYL, everyone. My name is James, and this, of course, is Top 5 Friday. Every single Friday, I release a Top 5 video on fragrances. The weather is still pretty cool outside, and I did a video on my top 5 incense-based fragrances. So the next cool weather fragrance note I wanted to focus on is cowhide, leather. Getting right into this list, I'm going to start with one honorable mention, and it happens to be Duro by Nasamato. Duro gets an honorable mention because it's a very good dark leather fragrance. It is a bad boy of a fragrance. You feel extremely masculine wearing it, although women can pull this one off too. I'm not crazy about Nasamato's 30ml bottles, even though they are extra parfums. Price-wise, it's kind of a lot to ask. And this actually happens to be the only niche fragrance I'm gonna talk about today. All of my other ones are designer, so they're easy to get, they're affordable for the masses. But for all my niche snobs out there that like their leather fragrances, Duro is probably one of the best. My number 5 leather-based fragrance in my collection is Pure Leather by Mugler. Normally when you add leather to a fragrance, it makes it a bit harsher and more brash, more masculine. But I find with this fragrance, it kind of did the opposite. The leather note added to the original Amen makes it a bit smoother. And I find this fragrance pretty wearable as well. It's not a strong leather note, which is why it's only number 5 on my list. At number 5, Pure Leather. My number 4 leather fragrance in my collection is L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. L'Homme Idéal translates to ideal man. And this fragrance to me kind of lives up to the name. Not only does the leather note in this appeal to the masculine dude, but also the more metrosexual dude because of the sweet almondy accord that's in there as well. It's really the best of both worlds. It does last quite a while on my skin, but being an EDP, it is a bit softer on the projection. It's not crazy loud, especially 2 hours after applying. But when people smell this off of you, the sillage is very nice. This guy only gets number 4 because again, it's not all about the leather, but it's in there and it does a very nice job blending with the original's DNA. At number 4, L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. My number 3 leather fragrance in my collection is Prada L'Homme Intense. It's funny because it took me 5 takes to say that name. I didn't know whether to say intense, Prada. Prada L'Homme Intense is probably my favorite designer fragrance release for men of 2017. With the original Prada L'Homme being such a huge success as being the quintessential office fragrance, L'Homme Intense takes the original, adds leather. It makes it a little more rough, a little more rugged, a little more masculine. But you do have to be careful when applying this fragrance because it is one that you will stop smelling on yourself, even though it's still performing like nuts. You would think that with the introduction of leather, it would make this fragrance less versatile, but it really doesn't. It still maintains that fresh quality of the original, it just adds more depth to it. So you can wear this in warmer weather, you just have to go easy on the sprays. At number 3, Prada L'Homme Intense. Whew, I'm sweating. Ugh. My number 2 leather fragrance in my collection is La Yuqawam pour Homme by Rasasi. Famous for being very similar to Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, this is a beautiful leather fragrance that's assisted by a wonderful raspberry opening. Not only is it cheaper than Tuscan leather by Tom Ford, it also has more juice in it. Your standard Tom Ford private blend bottle is 50 milliliters. La Yuqawam pour Homme, it's 75, so you get 50% more juice. Quick maths. Once you get used to the note of leather in general, the raspberry in this really is nice. It's more prominent in this than Tuscan leather too. It really is a fragrance that I enjoy quite a bit, but unfortunately it's one that I can only wear in the winter. When it's really cold outside, it performs beautifully, but other than that, I wouldn't touch it. At number 2, La Yuqawam pour Homme. You may be wondering to yourself, what could possibly beat La Yuqawam pour Homme / Tuscan Leather / Godolphin by Parfums de Marly? Well, my number 1 leather-based fragrance in my collection is Dior Homme Parfum by Christian Dior. Easily my favorite leather fragrance in my collection. And it's because it's so much more than leather. The Dior Homme line in general is legendary in men's fragrances. But what Dior Homme Parfum does is it makes it more masculine. While Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense were sometimes called a little feminine because of the iris that's in there, Dior listened and introduced the Parfum version, which introduced leather. It still has the nuance of the original, but it's definitely a leather jacket fragrance. There's a duality of soft, gentle florals and manly leathers that works so nicely. The last thing that I want to talk about is this fragrance's performance. This stuff lasts and lasts and lasts. Longevity, well over 12 hours on my skin, but projection, you get pretty good congestion. You get pretty solid projection for up to 6 hours usually. I love it in the cool weather. It's such a marvelous creation, and it is currently my favorite leather fragrance. At number 1, Dior Homme Parfum. Okay, well, that was it, guys. Leather fragrances. When it comes to the note of leather, there is a really wide spectrum. Whether you have, softer suede-like leathers that's more of a supporting role in fragrances, or you have big, brash, in-your-face, animalistic leathers, make you smell like you're from the medieval times. There's really something for everyone out there, but the leather fragrances that I selected in this list, they're a little more on the tame side. If you have an awesome leather fragrance that you want to share, let me know in the comments below. All of our links to the Facebook group, Snapchat, and Instagram are down below. And if you like what you see, then go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you like leather, like the video. Catch you next time on Top 5 Friday, yo! Peace. Prada l'homme intense. Prada l'homme intense. Prada l'homme intense. Prada l'homme intense.